They say she was a monster. Hair of serpents. Eyes that turned men to stone. A cursed creature, hunted down by a hero. But what if the truth was far more tragic? This is the real story of Medusa, the myth the gods don't want you to remember. Long before the hiss of serpents echoed through myth, Medusa was not a monster. She was a maiden of surpassing beauty, a mortal priestess who served in the temple of Athena, goddess of wisdom and war. Her hair was like woven midnight. Her eyes shimmered like emerald tides. And her devotion to the goddess was unshakable. But beauty, in ancient myths, is not a gift. It is a curse. And when the sea god Poseidon set his gaze upon her, the tides of fate began to churn. In the sacred temple of Athena, a place meant for purity and protection, Poseidon violated Medusa. Not with love, but with violence. It was not a romantic conquest. It was a crime. And what did the gods do? They punished the victim. Athena, enraged that her temple had been defiled, did not strike Poseidon. She struck Medusa. The beautiful maiden was transformed into a gorgon, her silky hair twisted into living snakes, her face so terrifying that one glance could turn any man to stone. But here's the truth they don't teach in the epic poems. The curse was not meant to punish. It was meant to protect. No man would dare approach her again. No god would ever touch her. Athena turned her into a weapon, because in Olympus, survival is the only justice. Exiled, cursed, and alone, Medusa fled to a distant island called Sarpedon, far from mortal lands, where the waves crashed like the voices of the gods themselves. But the world could not leave her in peace. Heroes came, not to understand her, but to claim her head. Her blood, they believed, held power. Her death, a prize. But none returned. Until Perseus. The young demigod Perseus was sent on an impossible mission, to bring back the head of Medusa. It was a trap. A king who feared his rise. A task meant to kill him. But Perseus was armed not by fate, but by the gods themselves. Athena, the very goddess who cursed Medusa, gave him a mirror-like shield so he would not have to face her eyes. Hermes gave him a sword forged by divine flame. Even Hades gave him a helm of invisibility. And so, in the dead of night, he entered her lair. Medusa was not a beast in battle. She was sleeping. Vulnerable. Unarmed. And in silence, he beheaded her. From her severed neck, 2 children emerged, born of Poseidon's assault. The winged horse Pegasus. And the warrior giant Chrysaor. Even in death, Medusa created beauty. Perseus took her head, still deadly, and used it as a weapon to petrify his enemies. Eventually, he returned it to Athena. And what did the goddess do? She mounted it on her shield, the Aegis, forever bearing the face of the woman she once cursed. But perhaps, that was her silent apology. Over the centuries, Medusa's image became twisted. Not as a protector. Not as a victim. But as a monster. A face used to scare, to silence, to shame. But modern minds have begun to remember that the monster was once a maiden. That her curse was her armor. That her rage was righteous. She was not born with fangs and serpents. She was made. So the next time you see her carved in stone or painted in myth, remember, Medusa was not the monster. She was the warning. A symbol not of horror, but of female fury, divine injustice, and the power that comes from surviving the gods themselves. This is the full story of Medusa. Not what you were told, but what you need to remember.